At the time, I said, why don't we approach it from an energy standpoint? Because as a piece of equipment fails, its losses go up. Motor, driven equipment, belts, everything else. So we started looking at doing that kind of thing, where we were measuring the energy costs. And then because when I went to UIC, we had to tie everything to emissions as well. So we started doing energy and emissions. But from that point in time, I was saying, okay, if a loss is occurring, if I have this problem going on, my losses go up, my watts go up. We had determined that also through the challenge programs. That means like missing, lagging on, chilled water or steam pipes or hot water pipes all have a direct impact due to losses on the energy required to produce that different type of energy in any case. Like what's an electric motor? It's a converter. It takes, electrical current, or it takes electrical energy and converts it to mechanical energy. So it takes electrical watts and turns into torsional. So in IEEE 112, which is the standard for looking at efficiency, we take watts in and we look at watts out, which leads into my counterfactual point and argument. So if I'm looking at, let's just do energy just by itself, June. If I'm looking at an overall plant IPMVP study, and just imagine that you are a measurement and verification professional, how would you approach that in a production environment when you have certain amount of energy, but you know that there's variable production?
I'd start by gathering historical data on energy consumption and production levels. Then I'd build a baseline model, often using regression, where energy is predicted based on production volume and other key drivers like weather or operating shifts. After the improvement, I'd measure actual energy use and compare it to what the baseline model would have predicted for the same production levels. The difference between predicted and actual is the estimated savings, your counterfactual result.
Exactly. So, as a matter of fact, what I need to do in each case, and we'll get a little into the weeds here, but I need to know all of the inputs into the plant and all of the outputs in production. So I need to know raw materials and what comes out, and those values have to balance. I had a case once where we were doing a biodiesel facility, and I asked for all of that information. They kept giving me bits. Like they said, oh, well, you only need to know the gallons of biodiesel that we're producing. And I'm like, well, I need inputs. But they didn't also tell me they had all these byproducts, because I then put it together. I'm like, these don't balance. Where's the waste go? And that's where the waste part comes in. So when I'm looking at waste rate, everything has to balance in and out of the facility. So I have total energy coming in, and I have that. Now, if I'm doing other energy types, or if I'm doing a whole facility complete audit, that was my dissertation. That's what we did for the novel approach to energy waste stream process and reliability for commercial and industrial facilities, which is my dissertation. We did all inputs and all outputs. That means water in, waste stream out, packaging in, tons of garbage removed. What was being recycled? If it was a food processor, some of the waste might go to pig slop, things like that. But I need to know all that stuff, because there's a conversion that happens in the middle of this box. And that conversion is taking that material, applying energy to it, and producing a product with byproducts and waste. So as that whole thing goes through, I run into it a lot, because engineers, we gotta, micro everything. It's like when we complain about micromanagement, right? Why is this guy hanging over me? Why do I care what's going on with the machinery in between if I'm doing an overall energy survey? What I do need to know is, what have we implemented, and did something else occur? Meaning, did somebody implement yet another thing? So, say I'm doing one kind of energy audit, somebody comes in and starts putting in LED lighting, somebody else comes in and does something else. All of that has to be isolated. So, different things can cause you to take different measurements internally. Now, some of that data, though, some of the details of what's going on in a plant, that might become necessary later on. That if I come in and I've got anomalous readings, like nothing's making any sense, again, I'll go back to the biodiesel facility where we discovered that at different production levels, different outputs, that you had different efficiencies of the plant. Now, we had a baseline, so we knew what the plant looked like without any equipment running. You need to do that too. Then we looked at the variable part, which is the equipment running. Then we discovered that the equipment not running up to par did this. And then there was all of the other processes that occurred in between. So basically, when you measured material coming in, it didn't instantaneously turn into output. What you needed to do there was say, okay, I have these inputs, I have these outputs, there's a lag in between, and during all of that, this energy stuff is. So you find out that you can actually start matching this stuff, but you need some level of granularity. I could go all the way down. In some cases, I've been able to go all the way down to hourly and sometimes quarter hourly data sets. But in general, I've found for my purposes, for the types of projects we've been doing, is basically daily. So, if I have daily processes and I know energy consumption by day and I know what's, going on in inputs and outputs by day, I can start bringing weather, production, and everything into line. Now, I see a lot of people use the overall energy, the billing. That is complete junk. First off, they're very rarely accurate. We've been able to determine that. We even have to put monitoring systems in some states, in some utilities. We found that they were so off their billing. One food processor we dealt with, we discovered that they were being invoiced for being a 4 megawatt plant. They were only a 3.